Hello, 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 lovely people joining the webinar. We are going to get started very soon. So in the meantime, if you go to the chat at the bottom and change the little blue drop down thing, so it says to everyone, not to hosts and panelists, because then everyone can see. Let me know where you're from. Let me know why you're here today. Let me know anything interesting about you. Put it in the chat below. We have people usually all over the world, and I love to see where people are tuning in from. So put it in the chat below and we'll get started. If you, those of you who printed off your workbooks, make sure you've got your workbook in front of you. If not, make sure you've got pen and paper. You will want to make notes. Okay, let's see. We've got Seattle, Minneapolis, Manchester, Texas, Pittsburgh, New York, New Zealand. Whoa, Kirsty, I think you win for the furthest away. Cornwall, beautiful part of England. Memphis, somewhat Fiona in the UK. China, Andrew, wow. I don't think I've had anyone from China before. That's amazing. Sue, I remember you, Sue, in the Netherlands. Oh, Maria in fabulous Las Vegas. I'm going to Las Vegas in 3 weeks for my 50th birthday. You can go to Las Vegas sober. I'm going with my family and we're going to go and see Katy Perry and we're just going to have a fabulous time. Because you can do all of those things once you're sober. I've got Canada, Oxfordshire. Oh, hello, Lou. Welsh Joe. Hi, Joe. Always good to see you here. Oh, Callahan, Florida. Callahan used to be my maiden name. I didn't know there was a town in Florida called Callahan. Gran Canaria. Welcome, Heather. Rome, Italy. Hi, Jamie. Gosh, all over. Fantastic. Lucy in London, Mike from Hampshire, Reno. I'm just up the road from Reno. I'm in Lake Tahoe. So hopefully those of you know a little bit about me. Have you listened to the podcast? Who's listened to the podcast or read the book? If you haven't read my book, I'm going to seriously suggest you do, because I will be drawing from some of this today as well. The other book that I'm going to be drawing from in this training is Atomic Habits. So these are the only two books you'll ever need in your whole life right here. And we have some homework prizes for those of you who complete the homework, and I'll explain that in a second. I'm going to send some prizes, and I'm going to send a signed copy of my book, and I'm going to send a copy of this as well. So yeah, when I read Atomic Habits, I was like, because he says everything I have been saying about how to get sober for years, and it's all distilled down into habits, and I've sort of drawn from this to kind of shape it around the work that I do, because it fits really, really, really well. And that's what we're here this week to do, is we're going to talk about how to build a sobriety habit. There was a workbook, it was sent out. It should check your emails. They may have gone to spam. Don't panic, pen and paper's fine. And you'll also all get a replay page sent out. And the replay page has the workbook on it as well. Yeah, thanks, Lou. Podcast, read the book. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Elena. Love your book. Always my number one resource. Fantastic. Brilliant. Oh, someone's in North Lake Tahoe. Hi, Catherine. So I just like people to have a general kind of idea of what I do and all that kind of stuff. So I have been sober since May 2nd, 2000 for 23 years in May. I got sober when I was 27, about to turn 50. In the UK, I was a accredited psychotherapist with the British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy. And I had a private practice there, and I worked in rehab and all of that kind of stuff. And then when I came to the USA, I started doing more coaching and groups and that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of experience doing that. Why don't we kick off? And there's time to answer questions. Yes, everything's recorded. There is a replay and it will get sent out to you. So I want to create a safe space for you here. And I really want you to know that I'm qualified and experienced in delivering this material. And that's really important. You can go to my website, veronicavalley.com, and in the About section, there's all of my qualifications and experience. The reason for that is there is a lot of stuff online about sobriety and helping people to get sober, and sober courses and 21-day resets and all that malarkey. And I want to say a majority of people are not qualified in that they have zero qualifications. This isn't easy. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing. What happens is people get sober and see business opportunities. So please, if you're going to spend money with anyone, if you're ever going to invest in a course with anybody, please make sure that you check out their credentials, that they have qualifications and experience. So I have qualifications, I have a lot of experience, I have over 20 years. And a lot of that was supervised clinical experience, and my work was supervised by someone more experienced than me, all of that kind of stuff. So I want you to know that I know what I'm talking about. This is not just stuff I've Googled and I'm regurgitating at you. So we will get to the core of why you drink the way you do and why your life is the way it is and how to change it. And this is work that I have done. So I'm really teaching you everything I know and everything I do. The next 5 days are going to be in depth, life-changing, and revolutionary. And I do not use those words lightly. This is not something you come and do half-assed. If you're not giving it your full attention, I can't help you. You need to prioritize yourself and your well-being. So give yourself time and space to take this information in. You're here for a reason. You're here because you are ready to change. The people who come to me, the people who find me, I don't do fluff. I don't do like tips and tricks for staying away from a drink. I mean, I have some suggestions about that, sure, and I can give you those, but I do the much deeper work. And that's why people come to me. And I'm going to guess that you know that about me. The people who find me are the people who are ready to do what's necessary to get the life that they want. So if you're here, that's why I'm going to guess is happening. So I want to know, why are you here today? Why did you decide to sign up for this course? Why did you turn up live? Put it in the comments, and make sure you click everyone, which is the little blue button just above where you type your message, because then everybody can see the message. Why are you here today? To get sober, Maria saying. I needed to find practice that I can achieve each day. Practice is hard because I want to do the deeper emotional sobriety work. I want to be sober physically, emotionally, and mentally, see what I can learn. Madeline is 20 days sober now. Well done. I'm feeling good, but no, I need continued community and support to keep it going. Can't stand the hangovers anymore. Oh, I used to have the worst hangovers. The worst. Julie is wants to attend all 5 meetings in a row. Go, Julie, to receive real life tips for staying sober. Kitty, me. Fiona, I've been trying to get sober for a few years and something kept talking me back to the drink. Yes, that the voice that talks you back to the drink is the voice of your ego. I will explain that at some point. Okay, good. Lots of people. Okay, so in order to get the most out of this program, commit to the transformation and show up and be present. If you complete all 5 days, I can promise you one thing. I will show you a different way to live and get what you want. And I also make this promise. I will mess up your drinking. I will mess it up. I will make it harder for you to go back to alcohol. I'm going to open a door, and it's up to you whether you want to walk through it. So, okay. So a little bit of housekeeping. You'll get an email later today with the replay page. The workbook will all be on there. Otherwise, make notes. Homework. So I have a Facebook group. Louise, can you post the link to the Facebook group? We have a post that will go up in the Soberful Facebook group just after this live training finishes with the homework question. If you answer the question every day, we're going to pick some winners at the end of the week, and we're going to send some free stuff, some swag and whatnot to you. So, but you have to answer the question every day, and we monitor that. You have to be in the Facebook group. I'm sorry if you're not on Facebook. There's a lot of moving parts organizing these kind of trainings, and we just find that's the easiest place for us to manage the homework competition. So I'm sorry if you're not on Facebook. Louise has just posted the link there, and also Carolyn has also posted the link for the workbook. It's a private Facebook group. You don't nobody will know you're a member, and nobody will be able to see what you post in there. It's completely private, but that's just the best way for us to manage that. So that's how the homework works. My whole program is about learning and then taking action. So you may get triggered a little bit this week because we'll uncover some stuff. Being triggered is an invitation to grow. It's an invitation to develop more self-awareness and grow into the person that you are meant to be. If you want incredible sobriety, and I want to say that's possible for everybody, you can't stay where you are now. Being triggered is an invitation to move beyond where you are now. And I want you to just support yourself in that process. So you are in a safe place here with me. We are not here to stay away from a drink one day at a time. You are not here to just survive your life. There is so much more on offer there. Okay, so day one, change your alcohol habit into a sobriety habit. This is what I'm going to teach you today. This is what you're going to learn. How to change an alcohol habit into a sobriety habit. Why you need to be emotionally sober, not just sober from alcohol. Intensity over consistency doesn't work. How you can stay sober by making 1% changes. So as I said, I've been sober for 22 years, coming up to 23. So I have some idea of what works. And again, that's not just based on being a sober person, which has some value, but that's not what qualifies me to teach you. It's because I've got clinical experience over in many different settings, teaching this stuff over and over for 2 decades. So this is in your workbook, and you're going to want to write this down. I want to clear up a couple of things. You don't need a sobriety toolbox to get sober. I reject this idea. You don't need a sobriety toolbox to get sober. I completely reject that. What you need is a sobriety habit. That's what you need. Now, I have seen this pop up quite a few places. Different people teaching things that are in their sobriety toolbox. And I get what they're trying to do, but I want to tell you, it's the wrong message, and it won't help you, and it doesn't work. The reason for that is we're not cars. If you have a car, off you go in your car, right? And every so often something doesn't work or breaks down, and you go into your toolbox and you fix it, and then off you go. I mean, yeah, you're meant to do maintenance. We actually just did that last week, maintenance. But apart from that, we just get in our car, drive it, and every so often someone has to tinker with it. That's not how it is for human beings. What we need is a practice. And the key to that is the things that we do consistently to take care of ourselves. Now, I'm going to explain all of that in depth today and the next few days. So I want you to just hold on to that thought. You don't need a toolbox. That's the wrong information. What you need is a practice, a habit. Because if you think about it, you already have an alcohol habit. You have an alcohol practice, right? There is a familiar pattern to it. It is very, you know how to do it. You do it without thinking. It's very familiar to you. So you have an alcohol habit. What we're doing is changing that into a sobriety habit. And the alcohol habit, you do that consistently, right? There's a consistency to it. So consistency is the key word. You are gonna, if you ever work with me and come into one of my programs, you're gonna hear me say that a lot. So I know you are here because you want sobriety to work, and up until now, it hasn't in the way that you've wanted to. So I want to, over the next 5 days, help you understand what doesn't work and the mistakes you have been making and how you can create an effective sobriety habit. So I want to define what sobriety means. Who, post in the chat, who has thought that sobriety is just not drinking alcohol? And if you can just figure out not drinking alcohol, everything will be fine. Who has thought that? Put it in the chat. Yeah, lots of, yeah, in the beginning, of course. Yeah. 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 Yeah, not sure, but lots of people, yeah, I did, but I don't now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because what I'm talking about when I talk about sobriety, I mean feeling comfortable in my own skin, being at ease with myself, not behaving in self-destructive ways, having appropriate emotional responses to events, and liking myself. Because I'm going to tell you, when I was drinking, I most certainly did not like myself. Who relates to that? Put in the chat, yes or no. So when we talk about sobriety, what we're talking about is liking ourselves again. And that's what I call emotional sobriety. There is more to stopping drinking. And this is in the workbook. So if you've got that page open, fill it out. There is more to stopping drinking than just stopping drinking. 10% is stopping drinking. 90% is emotional sobriety. Write that down. There is more to stopping drinking than just stopping drinking. 10% is stopping drinking. 90% is emotional sobriety. Being sober is not just not drinking alcohol. The reason for this is when we have developed a problem with alcohol, what we are generally doing is outsourcing our emotional life to alcohol. We use alcohol to manage our emotions. Who here recognizes that they do that? Who has outsourced their emotional life to alcohol? So when we stop drinking, we are like emotional teenagers. We don't know how to manage our emotional lives. Who feels that way? Two reasons for that. Typically, most of us in our families of origin, it was not role modeled in our families of origin how to deal with our emotions. That was my case. Probably some of you had the same experience as well. Then, because I started drinking to deal with fear and discomfort and not liking myself and feeling awkward and being scared of what people thought of me and blah, 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 blah. Because I used alcohol to deal with my emotions, I never gained those experiences. So when I stopped drinking, I was an emotional teenager because I just didn't know how to deal with my feelings because no one had ever shown me and I had never learned. Who else feels the same way? So a sobriety habit is about staying sober by managing your emotional life. And we do that by developing habits that support our mental and emotional well-being. If you want to know the secret, like the secret to sobriety, it's that. We need to develop habits, a practice that supports our mental and emotional well-being. When we take care of our mental and emotional well-being, drinking takes care of itself. Because let me tell you, when I'm comfortable in my own skin and I like myself, I don't feel any desire to put a carcinogenic central nervous system depressing substance in my body. Why would I do that when I like myself? Why would I do that to myself? It's not willpower. It's not white knuckling. It's not being strong. It's not if that's how you're getting sober, that's not going to work. It's taking care of your mental and emotional health with habits. And this takes care of itself. Make sense? Anything doesn't make sense, let me know. By the way, on Friday, we're going to have a lot more time for questions and coaching. So please show up on Friday where I can unmute you. You can ask me questions and I can help you and all that kind of stuff. So we need to do specific things on a consistent basis. And I will go into what those things are as we go through the week. And that's why people come to me, because that's what I'm an expert in and what I have experience in, is the emotional sobriety part. And by the way, you can learn it anytime. It's just a skill, like riding a bike. And you're not too old, wherever old you are, it's not too late to learn these skills to take care of your emotional well-being. So here's the thing. You already have lots of habits. We all do. So let me tell you a story. I have two boys aged 7 and 11. And anyone who's raised children, especially boys, but I imagine girls are not too dissimilar when they're about the same age. My sons would be quite happy. They could go probably weeks without having a bath or brushing their teeth, weeks. In fact, they went to sleepaway camp for the first time last summer for 7 nights. And guess how many showers they had? 1. And it was the day before we were picking them up. They were having the time of their lives. I hope they brushed their teeth, but they certainly didn't wash. So if anyone here is a parent, my husband and I, what we're doing is we're continually coaching them every day to wash, to brush their teeth, like to do all of those things. And they wouldn't do it unless we consistently told them. Every parent relates to that, right? You were the same. Right? When we were 5, 7, 10, I don't know what age it changes, but it changes. We were the same. I could lived in my pajamas and not bothered with having a bath or anything for probably months. However, at a certain point, that changes. At a certain point, after being consistently coached and we do it, we get to a tipping point where we want to do it. Right? None of us got up today and just got out of bed and got on with our day, right? We would have felt so weird, right? Wouldn't you have felt weird? I would. I get ready, I do my makeup, I do my hair, wash my hair every day, brush my teeth, just I like the way I feel. It makes me feel nice, but also I know all of that stuff's important and good for me. So it's the same thing with building a sobriety habit. We just do it, we do it until we want to do it, because we like how it makes us feel. I don't know about you. I'm all about the good stuff. I only want good stuff. Bring me the good stuff, as much good stuff as possible. And that's what a sobriety habit is. We do it. May not want to do it, but we do it. Oh, I don't feel like doing it, but we do it until we get to the tipping point where we want to do it because we like how it makes us feel. Is this making sense to everybody? The most common mistake I see when people are trying to get sober is they use intensity over consistency. So it's January, a lot of dry January, a lot of exercising every day, living to podcasts, reading all the quick lit, doing all the things. And then we just get fatigued. And then we stop doing it all. And then we go back to how things were. That's the mindset we've got to change. So we set the goal of being sober, and for a few days or weeks, we use intensity. We're doing all these things, or we're trying to use willpower. And we're just, January 1st or 2nd, we feel like absolutely empowered and strong, and we're going to do it. And I hear people say this all the time. They're really going to try really hard this time. They're going to try really hard. No point. It doesn't work. That doesn't make any difference to the outcome. No point trying hard. Don't bother trying hard. It doesn't work. Or I hear people say things like, they wish they were stronger. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter whether, you know, first of all, that's subjective. What is strong? But it doesn't make any difference to the outcome. Those are not the deciding factors. That's intensity over consistency. Who recognizes that they've done that? And then they've drunk again. Pushing really hard to achieve something, no matter what it is, it's unsustainable. And that's why you're failing. And it's overwhelming. And it's also not fun. Fun is really important. So we have made these big promises, but to ourselves and maybe to other people, but because we don't have an effective life system or habit, what will happen is we're trying really hard and off we go. We're just doing willpower. We're just trying to be really strong. We're being really intense. What's going to happen is a life thing will happen. And that's how life is, right? Something, we'll have a bad day. We'll have an argument with our boss or a partner, or the car will break down, or blah, 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 blah. Something will happen. And we have exhausted our intensity, our willpower muscle, and we have no system to deal with life apart from the one that we have used so far, which is the alcohol system. And that's what I see happen a lot. And excuse my language, what happens is people get the fuck it's. Just try really hard, really try hard. And then bad day, car breaks down, argument with the boss, argument with your partner, and you go, fuck it, I deserve or need to have a drink. Who's done that pattern? I'm just going to look at some of your comments. Yeah. Yep. Good news, guys. You don't ever have to do that again. That is not a method that will be successful. I'm going to show you over 5 days a different way. You don't have to do it. Doesn't have to feel like that. Stop doing it. Instead, relax, learn a new system. And here's the great thing. Make a 1% change. Doesn't that sound better? A 1% change? So I use this a lot with my clients. When I hear that, just make a 1% change, I'm like, what's the point? Like 1%, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? Why bother? That's what I thought initially. But that's actually 1% is maybe like 15, 20 minutes a day, something like that. So this is something that James Clear talks about in his book. Here's the thing. If we get 1% better every day, by the end of the year, you'll end up 37 times better. So we can't sort of see it when it's happening, but over a year, we end up 37 times better. Just doing 1%. It's also true in reverse. If things get 1% worse, again, you can't see it when it's happening. At the end of the year, we end up 37 times worse. 1%. Who can give me 1%? Who can give me 15 minutes a day? No, not drinking 1% less. No. 10% of the deal is not drinking. Not drinking. I don't, if you've come to me to learn moderation, I'm not your person. 10% is the not drinking. So we need to do that bit. And by that, I mean, and 90% is emotional sobriety. That's kind of over our lifetime. So we need to establish sobriety. And then the bulk of the work is on emotional sobriety. And we need to do 1% every day. 1% is the compound interest of self-development. And if you have an alcohol, you know, when people come and work with me, what, you know, one of the things that we work on is, you know, what that looks like every day. And I'm going to teach that and go over that and all of that kind of stuff. But I know when you have an alcohol problem, I know if you're here watching this, you've spent a lot of time and a lot of money on your alcohol habit, right? Hours and hours and hours, and lots of dollars. So I know you have the time and I know you have the money to dedicate to this. So if you can give me 15 minutes a day consistently, I will show you what you need to do to be sober, stay sober, and love being sober. Who would like that, by the way? Again, the magic formula is consistency. Now, I want to clarify, of course, there's days when you need to do more. So part of my sobriety practice is I exercise every day. I do something. Sometimes if I'm a bit time crunched, I'll just do maybe some stretches. But most days I do something on the Peloton, or I walk the dog, or I do something like that. And when I exercise, that's at least 30, 40, sometimes an hour. And then I have my little book where I do my personal development things that maintain my mental and emotional health. And that's the 1% I'm talking about. So I'm going to tell you at the beginning, early sobriety, here's what's really important. Early sobriety is not how it is long-term. Early sobriety is the first few months. So in those first few months, you can have days where it feels like all you're doing is staying away from a drink, and you can have other days that feel easier. Don't judge sobriety thinking it's going to be how the first 6 months are, because it's not. The early sobriety is very, very unique. It does change. And if you create a habit, it will change quicker and it will be easier and more effective. You know, stopping drinking is a big lifestyle change. It's weird. Everything in your life needs to be navigated and renegotiated, but eventually it becomes your new normal. And we maintain that by consistently doing things that maintain our mental and emotional health. So there will be days, yes, that you have to give a lot more than 15 minutes to your sobriety, but that's typically in the early stages. As we go along, it's the consistency that's really, really important. Oh, Sarah's saying, and Sarah, just change your thing so it says to everyone, not to hosts and panelists. Having trying journaling, but again, I'm not consistent, find it a chore. Me too. I hate journaling, hate it. I don't do it. What I do is structured journaling. It's different. And by the way, I talk about that in my book about structured journaling. It's very, very different. I don't like journaling. Don't do it. Works for some, and if it works for you, fabulous. It's neither right nor wrong. It's preference. So I do structured journaling, and I'll talk about that later as well. So we maintain our sobriety by consistently doing these things that maintain our mental and emotional health. And here's the thing, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow. Don't quit before you reach the critical threshold. People quit before they reach the critical threshold. And I will tell you all about that tomorrow. Don't miss it. And I'm going to teach you how to get there. What we need is different habits. Now, remember, this 1% change, when you're in it, when you're doing it, it just doesn't feel like much, right? It just can't really, you know, when we do intensity over consistently, right, I'm gonna meditate for 30 minutes every day, I'm gonna exercise for an hour, I'm gonna journal for 20 minutes, I'm gonna call 5 sober people, and I'm gonna go to a meeting. That's like that, right? Unsustainable. So when we're in it, it sometimes doesn't feel like anything's changing, but over a year, it really, really adds up. So I want you to leave today. No, we're not going to try really, really hard. We're not going to use our willpower. We're not going to do any of those things. Relax. relax. We're going to just think about, I need to consistently do 1% every day that supports my mental and emotional health. And we'll talk as the days go on about what exactly that looks like. We're going to be wrapping up now. It's not an hour. We're going to be wrapping up now. So any questions or thoughts about what you've learned so far? How does this feel? Does everybody still feel they're in the right place? Does everyone feel like this is something they would like to know? Does everyone feel like I'm the person to teach them? Love this. Very cheap. Good, good, good. Absolutely. Is everybody going to show up the rest of the week to learn exactly what those habits are? And I will be going into them. So we're going to talk about the critical threshold. I think day 3, I'm going to be talking more specifically. There's a lot to cover, so I don't want to kind of overwhelm you. So the homework question, and this is going to pop up in the Facebook group in just a few minutes, is why do you need a sobriety habit now? Why do you need a sobriety habit now? And if you do your homework every day, we will check at the end on Friday, or I think early next week, we will announce some winners. And don't put your answer separately. You've got to put it in the post. There will be a post that comes up. You've got to put it there. So I'm just going to have a look at, oh, Julie's going to come back and bring a friend. Wonderful. Cindy, my current practice is to meditate, journal, and attend a sobriety meeting every day. Been sober for 90 days, but have never made it past 100 days. So this is good timing for me. And I want to say, Cindy, those are really good habits to have in early sobriety. And I want to say, as time goes on, when I first got sober, I went to a sobriety meeting every day. I don't now, because I don't need to. I still go, but I go with, I don't need to go as much. And I go really to be there for other people. Yeah, same time, same place every day. Yeah. Yeah, why wait? It costs more if I delay. The Facebook group, let me post that one more time so you guys can just, you just have to request to be a member, and then I will let you in. And here. Yep, so it's going to go up in probably like 2 minutes. Sarah saying, I've done a year before, but my life didn't change. And now I know it's because I didn't do the deeper work on myself. Yeah. And that's what this is all about. Remember, 10% of the deal, you need to stop drinking. Don't come to me to learn moderation. I don't believe in it. It doesn't work. What a waste of freaking time and effort to try and manage a carcinogenic central nervous system depressant. We only do that because we think we're missing out. That's why we try and moderate. We think we're missing out if we don't have alcohol in our lives. All of that's not true. I want to blow that up. Not true, not true, not true. What we need to do is establish sobriety, and then the rest of our lives is about working on and maintaining our emotional sobriety. And I will go into more of that. Okay. So we're going to wrap everything up. I can't wait to see your answers, and I can't wait to see what or you guys come back. Establishing sobriety, Heather, I just want to address that. So for everybody, it's very different. That's why I didn't go into too much detail. So for some people, they need to go to rehab and a detox. For some people, they need to do a coaching program. For some people, I have a client actually right now who's just gone to stay with her mother for 2 or 3 weeks. Her mother's sober and she just needs to get away from her community. For some people, they need to take some medication. There's lots of different ways to establish, and I'm talking about like getting those first 30, 60 days under your belt. That's the most intensive part, I think. So you need to not be drinking. And we need to be working towards that. And I'm going to be talking about that, putting weight on the sober end. That's all coming up too. Lovely to see everybody. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. And I hope that you will join me. I'm really excited for all your comments. And we'll continue then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.